I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We're back with this week's edition of the MMA-Analysis podcast. On a more serious note, Lance isn't able to join us this week, as many know.
He's not dead though, so that's a plus.
He'll be okay, but there was tornadoes down in his neck of the woods down in Tennessee earlier this week. Still without power down there. We did connect with him though, and him and the rest of the official crew are okay, but obviously it's a bit of a disaster zone, so he doesn't have power, can't connect in for the show. It's all good. I do have the usual suspects this week. The man of the Wildcat, the Bluegrass man. He's not bunkered in yet. But he's not drinking Corona. Wes Colvin. He's got he might even have a White Russian with him right now. Who knows? What's happening? Watch out for the headbutts.
No, we're over watching a little bit of senior night. The Cats, they're streaking. They're playing good. Hoping it continues. Good to be back. Missed last week. No tornadoes or nothing though. Just no white stuff. Yeah, no Corona here yet. I have not stockpiled water and shit yet. I'm not out paying $80 for bottles of Perel, and I think they got some masks and shit on Walmart's website. We're going for like $800 and shit. So
capitalism is awesome.
Yeah, all you doomsday preppers, and enjoy your 5 minutes of fun.
It's all good until somebody gets hurt or sick, right, Shaun?
Yeah,
it's true.
I'll reiterate. Are you prepping for the end?
No, well, I'm kind of pushing our government to build that wall, on our southern border to keep you fuckers out from spreading that shit around. Because up here, at least we got healthcare, so people can go get tested, make sure they're not transmitting this shit. They have paid sick leave and stuff like that. So people, if they're sick, they'll stay home instead of spreading it to everyone. So. I think we're trying. We're gonna build that wall, just like
Oh, we're building a northern wall. I guess it's the southern wall. Well, everyone's building a southern wall.
Yeah, we're all just trying to keep the other people out. I kind of get it.
Might be the smart thing to do for you guys. Keep us out.
Yeah.
We'll keep the Ontario people out. You can keep the Western U.S. people out. Seems like a smart play.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. So it was an interesting week in MMA. This card in Norfolk, woof. It was interesting to say the least. I think we have to start off, we kind of jump around a bit with this fight in the light heavyweight division between Magomed Ankalaev and Ion Cutelaba. Man, the refereeing and this whole thing was just something else. I mean, did you guys see when they announced when they're announcing Ankalaev, Cutelaba decides to walk over and basically like bump chest with Ankalaev before the fight even started?
And then Ankalaev just tosses him to the side.
Like, what is that? Like, what is he thinking? Like, that's like a good idea.
Well, it started even before that. Cutelaba gave him like a huge he tried to make him flinch at the weigh-ins with like a huge he leaped at him, but Ankalaev didn't even flinch, and then he tries to pull some shit at when they're announcing the fight, and And then, of course, the fight happened, and of course that went normally as well, you know?
I'm convinced there's no fighter in the UFC that has more, like, rage on a daily basis than Cutelaba. He's definitely a guy at a bar who's just itching. He's like the Cody Garbrandt of his weight class, but maybe even more aggro.
Yeah, this was looking like it was going to be an absolute wild fight. I don't know. It was probably only going to last a minute. Whether
it was awesome while it was going on.
I know. And then, of course, a shitty ref had to just ruin everyone's fun and make an absolute boneheaded decision to stop the fight. It was pretty good. John McCarthy talked about it on his podcast and just tore that ref a new asshole just for, because you're not supposed to be like, you can kind of look at their head, but when guys are rocked, it's their feet that you really need to look at, whether they're actually planted and like structurally sound. When guys are rocked, they're stumbling and stuff like that. He was not doing that. Like he was looking like he was bobbing and weaving his head like he was rocked, but his base was solid. So that ref is a fucking moron, and he took away what was going to be an absolute just shit show of a fight.
Well, what's bad too is I think that ref has been pretty decent recently. You know what I'm saying? Like
this was kind of out of character.
He's been one of the better refs, if you could say any of them's decent. I think he has been. Yeah, that's one of the worst fucking stoppages you'll ever see, man. Even if you think the guy's kind of hurt, you cannot stop a fight when the dude is literally in the end of his windup of throwing 95 mile an hour fastballs for fucking overhand rights. I don't care if he is out on his feet, man. If that dude is throwing a fucking fastball right, and that was bad, man. Seriously, that was one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen, and we've seen a ton of them, man. Robbed us of probably a crazy couple minutes,
Yeah, I mean this is what we want, especially at light heavyweight, where we usually get some shitty fights with some pretty like boring characters and just not athletic fighters. We actually get one that looks like it's going to be wild with just a crazy person in Cutelaba and a pretty just unknown but looks like an up-and-comer in Ankalaev, and then it just gets taken away. You're just like, fuck's sakes. This is why we can't have nice things. It was just an all-around peak MMA week. You got Figueiredo missing weight, so he can't even win the belt, and then this shit happens. It was, it was a mess.
And women's finishes, 2 back-to-back women's fights with first round finishes. Who knew that was possible?
Yeah, that was wild too. Oh, another thing. So they asked, supposedly, I don't know if it was Bronstetter that reached out to that ref for a comment, just to see if he was gonna, help out Cutelaba to get the decision overturned to a no decision or whatever. And supposedly that commission says they're not allowed to speak on fights at all. Like, gotta love that just being open and honest and stuff like that, eh?
I've read this week that commission is really, really bad.
Well, I tweeted it in our group chat that they have the old rules, and there's some other sketchy shit about their like testing when it comes to like blood testing and physicals before the fights. They're way behind on everybody. Like, the UFC really needs to, I mean, needs to use its power to pick and choose where it goes to sanction or to put on these events. And until these places, update their rule set and update their standards for testing, don't go and say, we're not going there until you fix your shit. But they don't seem to do that, because we're going back to Texas of like nothing happened.
Yeah, start talking about, the money that show's going to bring into your economy on that weekend, and start saying you're not going to get it unless it's not like it's going to cost them a bunch of money to make these small changes, that need to be made. Like, where are we at where the shit's all over regular TV, ESPN deal and all that shit, and we still have stuff like this going on? It's fucking crazy, dude.
That's the world we live in, dude.
refs, the reffing, the refereeing, the commissions.
They're winning.
But people will tell me it's all because of boxing. That's what I'll hear from certain people. Oh, it's a fucking boxing shit. They run it all. Well, ain't nothing changed,
But like medicals and stuff like that, like fucking that should boxing should have that fixed too. That's not a specific to MMA thing. Yep. Like fuck. Well, test your fighters, make sure their brains are fine to fight. Like fuck.
Bad shit decisions and bad shit reffing is not all exclusive to boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what some people will have you believe, that boxing's this shit sport. The reffing, the judge, can't bet on a boxing match because we know how the judges are. But like, I see a bad fucking scorecard in MMA 7 times a card. You know what I'm saying? It's not like one fight.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the times it doesn't matter because it's either they still got the winner correct or the 2 of the other judges knew what the fuck they were talking about. But that still doesn't mean that there doesn't need to be better
when there are
better actions to be taken
each way. Like it's like don't scream boxing to me when I watch an MMA fight and each judge has a 30-27 each way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just incompetence, And it was weird this weekend. There was a lot of weird shit this weekend. Fuck, they were scoring fights that got finished and shit. I'm not sure I've ever heard of that, but apparently they say they do that in Virginia. Score the rounds that the finish was in, and one judge had the round scored for the guy that got finished in the round. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. The fuck are we doing here?
Just weird shit.
That's right. Weird shit. All right, let's talk about the rest of the card. First fight. This fight was a interesting litmus test for both guys. Shaun Brady, Ismail Nordiev. I think guys that we tend to like. We think there may be something there with both. But Nordiev's got to improve his gas tank because Shaun Brady took over this fight later and got a win, a pretty good win for him. The dude, Spike Carlisle, I know West did not like the elbows to the back of the head. This guy's a character.
Spike Dudley.
He seems to throw some with real heat, though. TKO victory over Alan Cruz. Jordan Griffin, way behind, was getting smoked by TJ Brown, finds a way to score a guillotine win. Luis Pena, another 30-27 win across the board in a fight that he wasn't proud of. Marcin Tibura actually got a win. He was gonna get let go if he didn't get a win here, and easily got a decision over Spivak. That surprised me. Impressive victory for Brendan Allen over Tom Breeze. Allen's pretty good. I think he could end up being a top 15 middleweight. And then Kyler Phillips gets a decision over Gabriel Silva, and candidly, a fight I don't remember. Is that a bad thing that I forgot what that fight was?
It was fun.
It was somehow fight of the night. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was fun.
Whatever. Nothing great. For me, it wasn't memorable. Anyway, new Shaun, I'll start with you. Any thoughts on the prelims?
Yeah, Nordiev looked, especially in the first round, he looked pretty good. I mean, the striking looked fluid. It's just this guy has negative fight IQ. And just throwing fucking flying knees when you've been taken down and laid on for all of the second round. Like, that is not smart. And like you said, he's got to fix that gas tank / defensive wrestling problem. Because if he can shore that up, then he might be all right. But, man, that's a huge hole in his game. Spike Carlisle, Spike Dudley with the roids just fucking out of his mind, just smashing the skull. And yeah, they don't give a fuck about Spike hits to the back of the head.
There was like 100 on this card. There was fucking back of the head strikes all night long.
No warnings, no gives a shits. It's just whatever. So like I always say in MMA, always cheat, always, because it's always worth it. Other than that, yeah, that was disappointing from Luis Pena. I feel like he should finish a guy like that, and especially with that much back control, like you need to be able to lock that up. But he's a guy that I think is just always going to have an inflated number when it comes to betting, and this is going to come back to haunt him and not being able to finish when he goes up in skill. Other than that, Tom Breeze got knocked out. That was unfortunate. I had a tiny play on him, but yeah, Brendan Allen looked pretty good in there.
Yeah. Wes, any thoughts on the fights?
Yeah, I think Shaun hit it on Nardiev. I thought he looked really good, and he's fucking stupid. Yeah, Spike Carlisle. Look, I saw some people the first elbow saying that the first elbow was close. That's fine. It might have been close, but the 72 punches to the back of the head that he landed after that elbow weren't fucking close. So that was kind of bad. Yeah, character. I want to see him again for sure. Yeah, T.J. Brown. Dude never saw a guillotine he didn't want to put his neck in. So yeah, I lost some money on him. Shaun hit it on Pena. Somebody's gonna lose big on Pena eventually because he just, I don't know, that guy's got to finish fighters like that, and it just seems like he's really fun to watch, but he's one of those guys that will put himself in bad positions and shit to try to get some finishes, and I think he might get caught here eventually by somebody that knows what they're doing a little bit more than he does. And yeah, Tabura, man, I bet against him here. That was a horrible fucking bet because this fucking Sergey cat, he couldn't stop me from taking him down. So bad bet. Tabura still looks like a fucking fat sack. He looks like a fat sack of shit, man. I think I don't usually say USADA got some guys or something, but man, he looks like he's gotten really fucking soft over the past couple years. I'll look to fade him again. And then yeah, Brendan Allen was one of my favorite bets on the card. I've never been a big wouldn't say fan, but not really sold on Tom Breeze. The layoff he had coming back. Yeah, Brendan Allen's pretty good, man. I want to see some more of that kid. I think he can be pretty decent. That was a really good finish in that fight, and nice dog money on him. So yeah, I'm intrigued by Brendan Allen.
Yeah, he's pretty good. All right, main card, another fight where a guy didn't make weight, and another fight where a guy who didn't make weight wins. This is becoming a problem. I mean, it's really. Remember, there was a time when if you didn't make weight, it was a real like.
It was the opposite. Yep.
Yeah. Now it's like I would love to look at the numbers again, but I haven't seen them in a while. But it feels like it's over the last since like the start of say 2018, it's got to be like 75 or 80% of fighters that miss weight.
I think even before that, I think it's been a few years now to where it kind of
maybe
switched.
2017. I don't know.
Yeah. Because guys didn't guys would miss weight, but they would kill themselves trying to make it. They would cut every single last
now
thing
they see everybody's just missing those.
But now the
really give
and nothing happened.
The weigh-ins are earlier too now, so it's an extra 7-8 hours before they what their work.
30% of your measly purse that you get paid isn't greater than a win. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple wins, couple losses, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? A couple weight misses. We've seen how that goes. Miss weight, but go out there and fucking put on a highlight reel knockout. And Dana's like, oh yeah, you got to make weight next time, son. Keep knocking those guys out though, and it doesn't matter.
3.5 pounds is pretty brutal though. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Hell, 2.5 pounds in a title fight is pretty fucking brutal, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty pathetic as well. So, and then the first of the women's fights on the main card, Megan Anderson with a one-punch knockout against something called Norma Dumont.
Yeah, featherweight's a trash can.
Yeah, and then Anderson calling for a title shot. Okay, whatever. Nah. And then we already talked about. We might as well talk about the other women's fight. Fake Canadian, as New Shaun says, Felicia Spencer. Once she got this girl, Zara Farron, to the mat, it was one-way traffic with the elbows. I mean, if you guys had to say, if one of these two women gets the title shot, Wes, I'll start with you. Which of the two should be the one who gets in the title fight next time around?
I mean,
I think it's pretty obvious.
I think it's pretty obvious too, but I'm curious what Wes's answer is.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I
guess it's not that obvious.
Do I have to pick somebody?
Well,
though?
one of these chick beat the other chick like less than a year ago, so I would assume
it hasn't lost.
Yeah, I mean, but we know how the UFC goes. Like, what's if you could call it a big fight? What's the bigger fight, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the bigger fight is Anderson. But deservingly, yeah, it should be Spencer. Who cares?
I mean,
though?
Spencer fought
get
Cyborg,
destroyed.
so
I think there'll be an easier
that.
sell. Like if you're looking to actually sell a pay-per-view, I think the Anderson-Nunez fight's more sexy. I think there's no doubt about that.
That's kind of how I'm coming from.
Anderson has a bigger personality. She's a striker.
She got a look too. Let's not put that past that. She's got a look.
Spencer's pretty pedestrian in that regard.
Yeah, she's very meh in every regard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she's a pretty decent grappler, and when she gets people down, she's pretty effective. Like, that's basically who she is.
Yep, and she didn't get finished by Cyborg.
But see, the thing is, I think if you get into the matchup of the fight, what you want to see is Nunez has been a tiny bit shaky on the feet lately, and she's not on the mat. So I think we see maybe a better fight too if it's Anderson for as long as it lasts. But who fucking cares?
You know what? Just bring Valentina Shevchenko to 145 and let her challenge for the title. Probably a better fight anyway.
Who cares?
And then this main event. Oh man, another missed weight. Benavidez looked like he was ahead in round 1. I think that was
he won on all
accurate,
scorecards.
Yeah.
And then a headbutt in round 2. He starts bleeding wildly.
Massive.
And I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or the blood was starting to get to him. I think maybe it was a bit. And then just hits hip flush. That's it. Yeah, it looked like he didn't even see it coming, gotta be honest.
I mean, me personally, I think that had to stun him a little bit. I mean,
I think he was. I could see how he was reacting. He looked like he was in shock. Fighting.
I mean, that was a massive gash, man. That was a huge headbutt. That had to affect him at that point. Props to Figueiredo for jumping on him and finishing. I'm not going to take that away from him, but man, if you don't think that headbutt didn't change everything completely right in that moment, you're nuts.
Ref completely oblivious to that, because if that happens, they should stop it.
Stop it. Yeah, you got to check that. You got to check on him. To me, he looked dazed. I know he's still kind of there, but he started pawing at his eye and at his head, like the blood was gushing, like you said, Jay. And I think it dazed him, kind of stunned him, and then just totally surprised him when the blood started coming. That should have been it should have been stopped. He should have been checked on right then and there. I mean, I'm sure Benavidez would have continued on. I don't think he would.
Yeah, but it would have gave him time to recover and make sure the cut's not too bad and shit like that. But
I thought he was winning the fight. I thought he won the first round. I know he was throwing a lot of sloppy shit, a lot of stuff that wasn't landing and stuff, but I think it kind of kept Figueiredo off of him a little bit. Figueiredo had to kind of respect the bombs that were coming his way, and I think we know what would have probably happened to Figueiredo moving deeper into the fight as well. I think it would have just got better for Benavidez. So, yeah, I bet Joe, fairly big in that fight. I really hate to see it in that way, even regardless of my bet. I hate to see Benavidez get taken out like that with a headbutt that I think had a big impact on how the fight ended. So, they're talking about running them right back. I usually don't really like that too much, but I kind of
flyweight's a shit show.
Yeah, there's literally nothing else to do. Your belt's going to just be vacant. You're going to have Henry Cejudo running around saying a bunch of other dumbass shit. Run them back. Let somebody win this belt outright, or if Figueiredo wants to miss weight again, maybe cut his ass.
Yeah.
That's bad, man. You can't miss weight.
Yeah,
profit.
especially when there's no, like, it's a vacant title, so
Yeah.
it just makes it so much worse. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy Benavidez' strategy in this fight. I feel like he could have fought a lot more conservative, let Figueiredo throw the big haymakers and dodge them, and he would have gassed himself out. But it is what it is, and I guess we'll see if they run it back. I know Benavidez has to take some time off because of that gash and because of the knockout, so I don't know if we'll be seeing this run back anytime
They only
soon.
gave him 3 months, I think, but I don't know how long it'll take him to heal.
Yeah, we're probably looking at more like 4,
Yeah.
5. Yeah, just peak MMA all around. You got missing weight, you got headbutts, and then you got craziness before fights, and yeah, good stuff. That's what we live for, I guess. Chaos, right, Jay?
We do love chaos here on the MMA Analysis podcast. That is absolutely for certain. All right, let's talk about what is certainly on paper the best event of the year thus far.
Not the biggest claim to fame because of how shit the start of the year has been the first 2 months, but it's still a pretty damn good card.
There's some things on there. I mean, I don't think it's as good as maybe we like would, you know.
I think it's just in comparison to what we've been watching the first 2 months.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with you there. So this fight is, where is this event? Somewhere down in Aussie land, right?
No, it's Vegas.
Oh, it's Vegas. Wow. That's
Yep.
Didn't realize that.
Yep.
I guess that makes sense, hence why Dana's there so early. Makes sense talking about it. Wow, Vegas. I guess they want Adesanya doing the thing. So, okay, we got 2 title fights on this card, pay-per-view event, some other interesting bouts. Not a lot of highly ranked fighters on this card other than the ones in the title fights, but definitely some intriguing prospects and just good action fights. The first fight, I think, is it Batgirl?
It's Dana Batgirl.
Dana's Batgirl. Yeah, taking on. If he wasn't from Argentina, he'd certainly be from Italy or from.
Yeah, this guy has the most Italian name, and he's from Argentina.
He might as well be. He might as well be from North Jersey too. Guido Canadio.
I'm trying to give a fuck about this fight. And
I totally
just not
forgot how
working.
Batgirl fights, but I imagine it's not very good.
He won his first fight in the UFC.
I mean, how could Batgirl beat a grown man in a fight?
It's crazy.
Let's think about this for a second. All right, I thought about it long enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Wes, you got anything here?
Man, hell no. How do you start a fight card like this off with this shit, man?
No one else is watching. It's on the prelims. There's 2,000 people there at that time.
A 40-year-old cannoli salesman from Jersey and fucking Batgirl. No.
Nah.
Yeah, I have no idea on this one, man.
Okay,
I really
and he's
don't.
from Mongolia. Yeah, Batgirl ain't no good. He lost to something called Haley Alatang in his UFC debut. I mean, you have to, anybody.
Guido's like 40 though. How is this guy even in the UFC still? How's this 40-year-old dude like hanging around the UFC? Like he's gotten like what 5 or 6 fights?
Fought in 8.5.
Hey, he's got a couple wins in the UFC.
He does. I think he's got it. I mean, he's
2-3.
He probably wins this fight. I mean, he's an underdog, but he's 40. I get it. You don't want to bet it, but he's definitely better pedigree.
Yeah, I fucked up. Batgirl definitely lost last fight. I don't know why I thought that Dana Batgirl won, but yeah, I'm surprised that he's a favorite. I'll pick Canetti, but not a chance that I would bet this.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. Yeah, I'll take Canetti because Batgirl is terrible. I mean, Canetti's pretty bad too, but I'm not sure what the next fight is actually. Is it Whitmire and Biana, or is it?
I think it's Giga.
It's Giga Chikadze taking on Jamal Emmers. I'm trying to remember Emmers. I have an image in my head.
This fight was supposed to be so many different things. Like, both of these guys were not supposed. So, Evloev was supposed to fight. Who was it? Evloev was supposed to fight. Good. Yeah, I know. He's good. He was supposed to fight Douglas Andrade, which was going to be an awesome fight. Then Andrade pulled out. Then Evloev got in a car accident. And then Chikadze's, he was supposed to fight somebody else, I believe. He was supposed to fight Mike Davis last weekend. Then Mike Davis pulled out. So now Emmers is fighting Chikadze. What a fucking shit show.
This is going to be good, though, I think.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun fight. Chikadze is obviously a really good kickboxer, so hopefully if it stays standing and we see some wild shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wes, you like anybody on this one?
I mean, I haven't bet anything on this, but yeah, you're right. It's Chikadze is a pretty good kickboxer. He was in Glory for a little bit. I think Emmers can just kind of dirty this fight up, though. He's got a good shot of winning it. Anytime this is on the feet, though, at striking distance, I think he's definitely at a disadvantage. I lean Emmers here of dirtying this fight up, maybe getting it against the cage, getting Chikadze down and working him a little bit. I'm not laying minus 160 on Jamal Emmers, though, so he'll be my pick, but no bet.
Okay. I'm going to lean towards actually, this is really tough. I shouldn't even say. I mean, I like Emmers' pedigree. I really do. I mean, Chikadze's 6 foot tall, 72.5 inches. He's 31 though. Let me just look at some stats. Emmers 30, 5'10", 74 inches. I mean, pretty similar length and size. But I just like his pedigree. I mean, he does have a loss to Arosa, which is definitely alarming. But he also has a win over Corey Sandhagen at one point, which was a very good win. And has a loss to Thiago Moises. Yeah, so interesting. But I'm going to take Emmers, but it's close, and I'm excited to watch this bout. All right. Emily Whitmire and Polyana Viana. Woof City fight. Woof, woof, woof. New Shaun. Is this one of your over bets? Is the over minus 700 in this fight?
What is the fucking over? I didn't even look at it. Fight goes decisions only minus 175.
Really?
Yeah. And that's a pick 'em fight too. I mean, Polyana Viana has never won by decision. So
really?
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. But this is another one. I'm really trying to give a fuck, and it's not working out.
Wes?
Yeah, this is a fucking horrible fight. I don't know how anybody would want to watch this, but I was thinking about looking at the fight doesn't go the decision. It's like plus 135, plus 140. Like Shaun just said, Vienna's never won by decision. These chicks seem to get in dumb shit and get finished and finish with some dumb shit. So I think we could see some kind of crazy sub finish here. And if I'm wanting some action, I might sprinkle on fight doesn't go decision. I guess I'll pick fucking the underdog. Whoever is the underdog in Toutmaster.
It's a literal pick 'em.
One is 10 cents cheaper, so that's who I will be picking.
There we go.
Both these fighters are a D-. They are really, really bad.
Horrible.
Terrible. If I had to say something, I'd say Viana, because everything I've seen from Whitmire is just slow, and she doesn't look like she belongs at all. I mean, oh man. I'm not even sure why I'm even trying to make a case for either of them. I spent too much time talking about this already. Let's move on. This is an interesting fight. Meerkat versus Duran Win, a.k.a. light Daniel Cormier.
Middleweight that can make weight, and he's like 5'5".
So it's Daniel Cormier.
Oh man.
Wes, you can pick this one to start.
Yeah, I mean, look, people that have listened to this show at all know how I feel about Darian Wynn. You cannot be a 5'6" middleweight at the level that he's fighting at now and win a lot of fights, in my opinion. Dude couldn't even make 185 last time. Lost to Darren Stewart. Finally got my fade on him. I was hoping to get some nice plus money. I didn't get that, but I did finally get a fade on him, and I'm going right back to it again this time, man. I think Darian Wynn's gonna have problems with guys like Muskrat here. That even if you put him on his back and beat on him for a couple minutes, he's not gonna quit. He's gonna stay in this fight for every single minute of it, and I think the later it gets, the more he's going to frustrate Wynn and tire Wynn out. And I think Muskrat can take a decision here. And I love some plus money, so I'm going to take some of the Meerkat here.
New Shaun.
So there's a 7-inch reach advantage for the Meerkat, and there's another 7-inch in height advantage.
Imagine the leg measurement difference.
This is going to be ridiculous. Deron Wynn is not very good. He struggled with getting takedowns against Spicely. I mean, he did get 6 takedowns against Darren Stewart, but he also went 6 for 15. Meerkat's pretty decent off his back. So I don't know how much Deron Wynn wants to get down there and play in his guard. And on the feet, Meerkat's been looking a bit better. Deron Wynn is he's very simple the way he strikes, and with that kind of height and reach disadvantage, it's going to be a battle. So the pick is definitely Meerkat. I haven't bet him yet, but definitely monitoring this line to see when I want to jump in.
No, that's a thing you should definitely do. Definitely monitor the line. I got both guys at D+. I mean, Wynn certainly came into the UFC with a good amount of hype, but his lack of size and probably just as importantly, his gas tank just hasn't been up to snuff. Meerkat way longer, taller, more diverse game, and then Wynn is a guy who likes to take his fights to the ground. Meerkat, that's where he's at his best. And he's very crafty, looking for submissions. I think his veteran savvy is enough to win this fight, whether it's by sub or even potentially by decision. He's very crafty. Wynn needs to go where Meerkat's at his best, and Meerkat's better on the ground than Wynn is, and in top position. So buyer beware if you're on Wynn. With that, we're taking Meerkat as our mma-analysis consensus play of the week. Meerkat.
Hopefully, can get a win. They've been pretty trash lately.
By decision, plus 120.
Well, him just to win at plus 120. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Meerkat to win. All right, Rodolfo Vieira taking on Safarbeck Safarov. This isn't going to be good at middleweight. Wes.
Rodolfo will get a takedown, and Rodolfo will get a submission.
Okay. All right. New Shaun.
Yeah,
it's
Rodolfo struggled a bit against Paichode. He did get 3 takedowns. He ended up finally getting an arm triangle deep into the second round. I think he probably has a better chance to get Safarov down quickly. Safarov allegedly has 100% takedown defense, but he's fought John Vellante and Tyson Pedro, and then something called Nikolai Nagu Marino?
Pedro subbed him too.
Yeah, so this is going to be pretty simple and easy, I kind of feel. I don't know if there's a way to play this with Vieira being minus 800, him inside the distance is minus 275, and likely him by sub is not going to be much cheaper than that. So, I guess the play might be under 1.5 when it comes out, but yeah, I can't, play anything that's available right now.
Okay. What are my thoughts? Or I guess, yeah.
Yes, Jay.
I'm
What are your
thinking,
thoughts?
what are my thoughts
There's
here?
not much there, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, Safarov is sloppy, and he's never really amounted to anything in the UFC. I mean, Vieira, he's not very good on the feet, but on the ground, he's pretty masterful. So I'm going to go with the West logic, takedown, get to submission against Safarov here, but I don't know if I really care. All right, Mark Madsen taking on something called Austin Hubbard. Wes, you can go first.
Mazden is gonna get takedowns, and Mazden should smash. If he doesn't, it might get a little interesting, but I think he can. I'm not betting on a 30-something-year-old fucking Swedish wrestler. I think he's Swedish. He should win though.
Nushan, are you gonna Mazden on his Madsen?
I am. He's from Denmark, West.
Denmark,
not Swedish. Come on.
He's not Latifi. I mean, have some respect.
Yeah, Davi Ramos was able to get takedowns on Austin Hubbard, and Mark Madsen is multiple times better wrestler than him. So I expect lots and lots of takedowns, and he seems very aggressive from top. So he's likely going to rain down some punches. Might grab a sub if it comes to that, but I think this is going to be a mauling. I ended up taking Madsen and putting him in the 2-unit parlay.
Ooh. I might have to reassess. Now.
Reassess.
Well, teenagers liking him that much, yeah. With the money part.
Yep.
I mean, I like Madsen too. He's a pretty darn good wrestler. Really good athlete. I know he's older, but I mean, we've seen older guys excel in certain situations, especially when they start late in their career in MMA. The likes of Yoel Romero and Daniel Cormier certainly come to mind there. I'm not saying Madsen's in that league, but I don't think it's necessarily just because you're older. If you haven't fought in combat for very long, I think that that gives you a little more time, even at that older stage to get things done. So I think I don't think Madsen's going to be challenged much in this fight, but at some point in the future, he's eventually going to have to face someone who can really stick it to him. Preliminary headliner. This is Jose Quinones taking on Sugar Shaun O'Malley.
Ooh.
Not a Shane. Different Sugar Shane. Sorry, I got excited.
What you got, Wes?
They all get high, I think, so it's all close. They're all interconnected. They're all interconnected by the THC. This actually I think should be a pretty fun fight, man. I think Quinones he brings it every time. You know what you're going to get with him. I just think he's going against a better guy here. I think we all think that Shaun O'Malley's a pretty damn good prospect in this sport, and it is only getting better. It sucks the time he had to take off with hell. I think he's missed almost 2 years now, because of just the dumb shit that's around the sport. Yeah, the dumb shit that's around the sport. But yeah, I think this is a really fun fight, man. But we've seen Quinones get choked out by Nathaniel Wood a couple fights ago, and I'm pretty sure that Shaun O'Malley is going to be able to catch him in something as well. So yeah, I like O'Malley here. Line's getting kind of steep. I think against a really tough guy. I really hate laying 4-1 on anyone when they're against a guy that I know is going to stay in a fight. But I think Shaun O'Malley gets it done, and probably going to look at what his line is, him by sub when it comes out. Maybe if that's some okay plus money, I might take a little stab on that.
All right, new Shaun.
It will be plus money because him inside the distance is minus 120.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, no play in this fight for me. O'Malley, it will be 2 years, almost to the day, since his last fight when he beat Subkantai. He got hurt in that fight. It was a pretty weird fight. So I can't really put too much into it, but he did struggle a bit in that fight. But like I said, he was injured, so it's hard to grasp how kind of what level he was at that point. Quinones has got some takedowns in a bunch of his fights, so we've seen O'Malley's get taken down. So yeah, I'm would be scared of laying minus 400. That's for sure. But yeah, the pick should be O'Malley. These are the years that you see pretty big improvement. He's 25 years old, been off for a while, so he might come in there pretty improved compared to his last fight.
Yeah, that's true. I got O'Malley C minus, Quinones D. Quinones just doesn't have enough firepower to give O'Malley a shot. If he had power and could stick it to O'Malley, I might think he could beat him. But even though O'Malley's had a lengthy road off, he's way more talented than Quinones and has way more flash. I'll take O'Malley here to get the job done. I think this is one of the easier plays or easier picks or fights to pick on the entire card. All right, main card. We start off with Max Griffin against one of our favorites, Alex Hellboy. Oliver. Let's start us off with the man with like 7 kids from 7 different mothers.
On the same block. Never forget that.
Might also beat some of them. We don't
big
know
hog.
that.
Big hog on that. Yeah,
likes to get into grenade fights and all kinds of shit too. So yeah, he's a man. Look, I'd like to bet Hellboy in this spot. I really would, but man, this might be like the mook of all mooks fight here. Like both of these guys are just absolute mooks, man. You never know. How many times have we seen Hellboy just destroying somebody and catch a body shot or just any number of things, man, and he'll fucking quit. That dude will absolutely say fuck this and get out of there. And I've watched Max Griffin just snatch defeat from the jaws of victory so many times that I can't trust either one of these guys. This should be a really fun fight, though. Probably a really good kickboxing, striking affair. That's why I lean Hellboy. I think Hellboy's just the cleaner guy, the better striker. If it gets to the mat, Hellboy's definitely got the advantage there. I can't trust him with my money at this point. But the pick is going to be Hellboy, but absolutely no bet from me.
Shaun?
Yeah, this is definitely the mook fight of the night right here. Hellboy, that Yancy Medeiros fight where he definitely should have won and then ends up losing.
Yeah, that was bad. He should have won that fight.
He should have probably beat Mike Perry, losing to Nicholas Dalby. Those are pretty bad losses. And then Max Griffin losing to Curtis Melender, who has no ground game, losing to Thiago Alves, controversially, in 2019, and then losing to Alex Morono. Those are just terrible losses for all of those guys. So there's probably going to be some mook shit that's going to happen in this fight. I think it's going to be very, very fun for however long it goes. I give the edge to Hellboy. I think he's the more talented guy, but like I said, he finds a way out when there's some resistance there, so not a chance I'd put some money on him.
Yeah, I hear you. I got what are the grades? Oliveira C minus, Griffin D plus. I mean, Hellboy certainly has disappointed in his last couple fights. I think he's better than his grade, but he's just not consistent enough. But Max Griffin's just not good enough, I think, to beat Hellboy. I mean, I would be surprised. He also falters too. He can be a bit mooky, but I mean, Hellboy should not lose to a fighter of this caliber. He's a clear notch above him, in my opinion, and he gets the W. I think this price is pretty low, all things considered. I mean, we're talking about minus 140. I mean, this is a play in my regard. The price is just too good.
He wants his money on a mook.
Yep, I'll do it. Yeah, mook it up. Yep, I'll mook up. That's okay.
I'll mook up.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Sometimes you just got to mook up, Jay.
You got to mook up. All right. We got Neil Magny taking on China Goat or China number 2, Li Jingliang.
Zhang and Lang.
Wes? I know this is a Wes kind of fight.
I think he might have a claim to the throne again after that last performance. Yeah, man, Jingling's just constantly underrated. I think, man. I think he kind of is being here too. We all know the magic that Neil Magny has had at times, but man, I just think that's, now that we look at it a little more closely, it's a lot of favorable matchups for him. Anytime Magny has fought a guy that's, worth any shit, he's just been absolutely obliterated. So, not that I think, Zhang Lang is pontoon boat level or anything, but I think at 32, man, the miles might start being catching up to Magny just a tiny bit. He has been in a lot of fights over the past few years. I think just a couple years ago, the guy fought like 5 or 6 times in 1 year. Not that he's in any kind of wars all the time, but his last fight, he took a good little beating in his last fight. So. I just think technically Zhang Lang's so much better than Magny on the feet, and Zhang Lang's takedown defense is upper echelon. It's really, really good. So I think this is kind of a fight on the feet, and I think Zhang Lang is levels above Magny on the feet. If Magny catches some crazy shit, so be it. But I think Zhang Lang's being kind of undervalued here, even at 170 minus 170. It creeped up a little bit. I think around 2-1 or something like that. It's coming back down. So I'm going to watch the line a little bit. If Zhang Lang gets around minus 150 or something, I'm hammering. I think he's so much better than Neil Magny. So yeah, I like Zhang Lang quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Magny hasn't fought in damn near a year and a half now. Only fought twice in 2018. I don't even know if has he been scheduled for a fight. Just give me 2 seconds. He was supposed to fight Luke in mid-year, but then he got flagged by our friends USADA, so you know how that goes. So they've kind of put him on the shelf. So it hasn't really been injuries. Magny doesn't really do too well when he's pressured and he faces kind of a high volume striker, and that is what Zhang Lang brings. So Magny's not a big power puncher, so I don't think Zhang Lang's gonna respect him too much, and he is gonna pressure the shit out of him and probably light up Magny. And Zhang Lang is not a very fun fight coming off a year and a half layoff. He's going to come forward and bring it right from the bell. So I think Magny's probably in trouble here. It is a bit sketchy. Zhang Lang hasn't fought the highest level of competition. I think, obviously that Elijah Dushku win last time out was really good. But the Jake Matthews loss is a bit sketchy, and Matthews was able to get him down, I think, a couple times there. And that is a path to victory, I think, for Magny. Do I think he gets it? Probably not. But
he's better than that now, though, right?
Like, yeah, Zhang Lang's definitely got a lot better since then. But this is somewhat of a step up. So I'm staying away right now. I'll take a look. Let's see what him inside the distance is. Zhang Lang inside the distance is only plus 125, so I don't really like that too much either. I was looking for some bigger plus money, so I'll probably just sit back and enjoy, and hopefully Zhang Lang puts a beat down on him.
Certainly one way to look at it. I got Zhang Lang a C, Magny a C+. Zhang Lang is a guy we like on this podcast. He hits hard. He's pretty dynamic. Fun to watch. Magny, really not fun to watch. Pretty methodical striker. I mean, he can grapple a bit. He's got a good motor. He's pretty consistent. I mean, he's definitely concerned to get knocked out by Zhang Lang, but If it goes beyond round 1, I think you have to really like Magny at that point. So I'm going to lean towards Magny and his volume, cardio approach versus Zhang, but this is not a fight I would really want to have my money on. I think Zhang could win. I just think Magny offers more, and if it goes to decision, I like Magny here. All right, Beneil Dariush taking on Drakkar Klose. Both guys we've bet on, I think, multiple times each on this show. All right, Wes.
Yeah, I don't think this fight, I don't want to say it's necessarily like a really close fight. It's going to be like back and forth. I do think that Dariush is the better guy here. I just have a funny thing with Dariush fights, man. It just always seems like if I pick Dariush or bet Dariush when he's in that, the minus 175 to minus 200 favorite range, man, he's just shit the bed a couple times, man. I think I'm still not completely sold that he's not got a kind of a shaky chin. I don't think Klose is the guy to really test that, though. So that's one thing going for Dariush in this fight. I think Klose's really only path here is if he gets this dirty and bodies Dariush up against the cage and stuff. And I'm not sure he can do that, man. Dariush, he's really good in the clinch. He's got great takedowns himself. I think Klose would be in some pretty bad trouble if this gets to the mat and Dariush is on top of him. So, I'm talking myself into really liking Dariush in this fight, and I do like him in this fight. He's right in that fucking spot to where it seems like every time I take a shot on him, when he's a slight favorite, he always something happens. He gets knocked out. He gets caught with something. I don't think that's going to happen here. I can't get that kind of shit out of my mind. And sometimes when you have those feelings, it's just better to stay the fuck away from a guy. He just has your number. You can't pick his fights right. And I think Dariush might be that one of those guys for me. So, I'm going to pick Dariush. I think he gets it done here, but, I think Klose is a tough fucking out, man. The guy's he's gotten better. His wrestling's legit. So, he's going to be a tough out for Dariush. And I don't want to lay any juice here, but Dariush should be the pick.
Shaun?
I'm not so sure about that last statement you made, Wes. I don't know how legit his wrestling is.
No one does.
He was taken down twice by
right.
Iagos. He got taken down by Bobby Green.
Yeah, that was bad.
Taken down by Venata. Taken down by David Tamer. And got taken down by Diakese. The only guy who hasn't taken down Drakkar Klose in his UFC career is Devin Powell.
Maybe it's offensive wrestling. Let me switch.
Yeah, his offensive wrestling is decent, but
defense terrible.
Yeah, and I mean that fight against Iagos was way closer than it should have been based on the skill gap. I think he lost that Bobby Green fight when they fought. I have bet Klose a bunch in the past, but I side with Beneil Dariush here, just small. I was able to grab him at minus 152 just for a unit. Dariush is kind of went back to his bread and butter of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I think getting caught in some fights somewhat recently, and even Drew Dober kind of tagging him a bit before he got his shit together in the second round. He needs to be smarter and go with his much better skill set of grappling. I think he does that here. Klose doesn't have big power. I think that Dariush chin is a bit sketchy, but Klose doesn't seem to be the guy. I don't think he's the guy to do it. So I like Beneil Dariush here. Nothing big though, because there are those sketchiness with that chin. So I'll pick Dariush to grab a sub actually.
All right, I got Dariush. I believe C plus, Klose C. Pretty good fight on paper. Both guys are scrappy. Generally guys you want to bet on. But Dariush just is way more advanced from a striking standpoint and just a crafty grappling standpoint. Klose is, good motor, Keeps the fight standing. Pressures a decent amount, but just doesn't have those advanced skill sets that Dariush has, where he's really crafty on the ground, and ultimately does a really good job of game planning all of his opponents. I like Dariush here. Again, the price is like surprisingly cheap. I mean, again, minus 165 for a guy like this, pretty good bet. All this considered. What?
Shaun, I think one of your vegan sisters is trying to attack Joe Biden right now.
Joe Biden is getting
attacked by a vegan?
Some chick just ran on stage. It looked like she was holding a cow sign saying "Free the milk" or some shit.
Oh,
nice.
Security had to
trying to give that man a heart attack.
Fucking mooks.
Biden gonna fucking stroke out right on national television.
Yep.
Oh, fuck. That's good shit.
Sorry, Jay. You can continue.
Not much to say. I like Dariush here. I think he's one of the better bets in the card, even at minus 165. 2 title fights now. Women's flyweight division. I think it's flyweight, right?
Strawweight, sir.
Come on, sorry. I mean, what's wrong with me?
Get your women's weight classes.
The challenger, Double J, Joanna, Jedrzejczyk taking on China Goat, Weili Zhang. I'm not sure coronavirus jokes are allowed, but they were in early on this fight. Wes, give us your thoughts.
We always have some dark humor around here. This is a pretty good one. I think this is more for me. Look, I like Zhang. I think she's a good fighter. I'm not trying to undersell her or anything, but I think people's kind of overselling like one really good. It's a really good win. I just think it's kind of fluky. I don't ever want to call knockouts fluky. I don't think this was a legit knockout. But if you just kind of dig a little deeper into the people that Zhang has fought leading up to her winning that belt, it's not spectacular or anything, man. This more for me is I'm just not completely sold on Zhang, and I think she's fighting her absolute toughest matchup style wise coming into this fight. JJ is not going to run across the ring and get fucking dumped up like fucking Andrade did like an idiot. She's not a midget like Tisha Torres. She's not over the hill like Jessica Aguilar. She's not another midget like Daniel Taylor. Like, this is a legitimate fighter that she's got to fight this time. And me personally, I think that it's a bad matchup for her. I mean, I just think JJ at distance and the volume she throws is going to be a problem for Zhang. I can't see Zhang catching JJ with some big stuff and knocking her out. It just doesn't fucking happen at 115 pounds. So I like JJ in this fight. I took a little bit of the plus 150. I think we all know what kind of fight that she's going to bring here, what kind of game plan she's going to have. She's going to try to keep a little bit of distance, and she's going to try to throw 50, 60, 70 strikes around, and that's going to add up on the judges' scorecards. And I think she takes a decision here and she gets her belt back. So yeah, I like JJ at that dog money. Plus 150 I just think is a little bit wide, and you're going to have to prove me wrong at that price. Show me how great you are. Plus 150 on JJ for me.
New Shaun?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. I side with Wes on pretty much everything there. This is kind of a show me fight for me. I know what Joanna brings. I'm not sure what Weili Zhang has in her. She was able to knock out Andrade when Andrade served it up on a platter. She's not going to be able to take down JJ, or JJ will just pop right back up if she does. I think she will definitely be the stronger fighter, but in the volume department, JJ is going to be much better. I know their stat rates are quite similar for strikes landed per minute, but those numbers are inflated for Zhang because she just smashed on Aguilar on the ground in that fight. So where I think this is obviously going to be a standing fight, I think JJ obviously has the cardio to go an easy 5. And we've just seen what we know in JJ. I think we kind of sold her demise way too early. I think it was just kind of a bad matchup against Rose. So yeah, I like her here to win. I put 2 units on her at plus 155. So if Zhang wins, then it is what it is. But I'll take the more known commodity at a decent dog price.
I rank both these women as an A in this division, so I pretty much have them as close to a break even. I'm a little different here. I mean, I totally respect Jo Ruzek's total game, her striking acumen, what she's done for this division over the last few years since she became champion. But I mean, Zhang seems to be has all the momentum coming off a really good win. Jo Ruzek win rate is questionable at best at this point. Zhang hits pretty hard. I'm not sure how Joanna is going to react to that. And we haven't seen Zhang ever be pushed to deep water because she's always been dominant. So that's something to look out for here, though. But I'm going to have to go with the champion, Weili Zhang, to retain the title. All right, main event time. We have Israel Last Stylebender Adesanya versus Robert the Reaper. Or no, against Joel Romero. I'm thinking of that fight again.
Having flashbacks of that.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be great if we're gonna get that again. But even better, yes, it's the other guy, Yoel Romero, the 42-year-old man who wants to fight the 52,
62-year-old man.
Well, yeah. He wants to fight the 52, so maybe for him it's only a year. So, all right, Wes, main event. You've been looking forward to this fight. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be pumped for this fight?
It's YOLO. How can you not be?
Yeah, YOLO, and one of the most dynamic young fighters that we have in the sport opposite him. So, yeah, this is a pretty good one. You know, man, Izzy over the past couple of years is just it's one of the quickest rises that I think you'll ever see in the sport. And it's no fluke shit. He literally went out there and beat arguably the 2 best guys in the division. His last 2 fights, just absolutely insane performances. I think I always hate picking against Yoel Romero. We know just how crazy good this guy is. Especially hate picking against Yoel when he's a dog like this. I usually always have money on him when he's a dog like this, but I just think Izzy's got a style, man, that is a problem for all of these guys. His kickboxing, his striking is just levels above anybody else in this division. We've seen that he can just throw massive amounts of volume for 25 minutes. He doesn't lose his pop. I mean, he's got later round, he got Whitaker in the second, but halfway through the second, just throwing massive amounts of volume. And I just think that kind of happens here. I think he keeps his distance on YOLO and just kind of pieces him up, stays away from those huge punches that we know Romero is going to throw. Will YOLO try to take him down? I think that's going to be the big question. It seems like YOLO's turned more into a kickboxer himself over the past couple years, especially in these high level top of the division matchups. Usually both of the guys have just outstanding takedown defense, so it always turns into a kickboxing match. And I'm not sure how you take anybody else in this division in a striking matchup. So yeah, I mean, if YOLO can get him down and drop the hammers, that changes everything. But I don't see that happening. I think this is going to be just an outstanding kickboxing match. I think YOLO will land some stuff as he does get hit. But man, we've seen that the guy's just got an incredible chin on him. I know Gastelum had him hurt a little bit. Gastelum, in my opinion, is probably still the toughest matchup for Izzy. He had him in a spot in the fight they was in. He could have won that fight and kind of let up off the gas. So that's one I want to see again. But yeah, I think we kind of see the same kind of matchup as in those two fights. I think Izzy keeps a little distance. He lands his just unbelievable striking and probably goes to a decision. And Izzy just takes down another one of the top guys in this division and continues on one of the craziest rises that I've ever seen in the sport.
New Shaun, thoughts here?
Izzy is an absolute lunatic for asking for this fight. He didn't have to take it. He chose it. Romero obviously coming off some losses and he still was up for it. He wants to fight the best at 185, and that's what Romero is. Romero, obviously, as we've seen, he's more of a blitzer. He doesn't really throw with combinations. It's more of just single power shots, which have devastating results when they land. Izzy is obviously a very, very good kickboxer, and I feel like he should be able to see these coming when they're just single shots at a time. YOLO, for all he gets claimed as a wrestler, he doesn't really wrestle much. I guess he takes people down. He doesn't really have a good top game to keep people down. As we've seen, when he does get people down, is able to do some damage from the top. It is devastating. So if he does get Izzy down and was able to control him, it could be get scary for Adesanya, but I don't think that's going to happen. Adesanya has staff going into this fight, which is fucking not great, especially for a guy.
He's saying he doesn't.
He does, man. He showed fucking
that arm
he did a fucking close up on it. That's guaranteed staff. So I don't know how they're just gonna let that fucking go, but that's just another thing that's makes it a bit sketchy. I think Adesanya should be is obviously the better, more dynamic striker, and he should be able to piece up Romero. Romero has the absolute he has the eliminator, basically something that he can pull out whenever or just out of nowhere and change a fight and end a fight. So that is a bit terrifying. I like Izzy here. Don't like the staph infection, but I bet him before that kind of came out. So I put him in the Madsen parlay. That's plus 107. I got 2 units on it. I think Adesanya has the capability of finishing Romero, which hasn't been done in a very, very long time. Adesanya is just an unbelievable striker.
Shaun, do you know who the last fighter to finish Yoel Romero was?
Figueiredo.
That's right. Yep, in Strikeforce, the spinning back fist, I believe.
Juiced up Figueiredo on
Strikeforce. Juiced to the gills at 205.
He was ridiculous. Yeah, he was ridiculous, dude.
Those are the days. All right, so I have Adesanya an A+, Romero A-. Hear me out here. I mean, YOLO is still a pretty good fighter, but I mean, he's dangerous early on, but once he kind of settles into a fight, he kind of loses a bit of luster. I mean, Adesanya is pretty consistent over 5 rounds. He's a master of range. In a striking match, he's going to have an advantage. He's never been outstruck in a fight before.
Just watch out for that third round, right? Third round Romero?
I guess, yeah. On the ground, Romero can certainly go for takedowns. I think he'd be smart to do so here and go for a finish really early. I don't think he's going to do that, though, because it's not how he's fought his last, 5 or 6 fights. So in a prolonged striking match, I have to favor Adesanya. And I also agree there could be a chance for a finish in this bout, simply because Adesanya hurts opponents late. His accuracy is key. He's gonna take over against a slowing down Romero, and he's gonna get a TKO victory. I like that. I have to look at the price. What is the price for Adesanya by knockout?
Him inside the distance is only plus 140.
Yeah, not good enough. Well, it's still plus money there. I mean, candidly, there's no knockout prop out yet, so.
No.
But yeah, that's the way I'd play this. I think again, he maintains. I mean, Romero is a pretty interesting fighter, but this is not a good matchup, I think, ultimately for him. Adesanya will continue his title reign more until another day. I'm not sure who can beat him at this point in this weight class, but we'll see as time goes on. And that does it for this week's show. We are through yet another event. I think we got a few more up before the end of the quarter. UFC keeps going fast and furious.
Next week we're in the Brazil card. Chucky Olives versus Kevin Lee, and Gilbert Burns versus Damian Maia.
Lance can't make it back for that. I don't know what to say at this point.
Oh, he'll be here.
Yeah, he should be. I agree. It's going to be exciting. Good card ahead next week. So pretty cool that we got back-to-back quality cards. So until then, enjoy the two title fights. We'll see if there's any titles that change hands. Should be a fun event. Enjoy.